Good afternoon. Steve Richardson here with Lunch with a Lawyer for June of 2017. Like I said, I've just finished my lunch and we're ready to get started on our topic for this month, which are New Jersey learner's permits and graduated driver's licenses or probationary driver's licenses. And I have to say that on my website, the articles on those two things are the most popular consistently month to month as far as website traffic and what people read when they come to visit the website. So I thought I'd talk about this topic today in a more interactive setting rather than just a straight article on my website or the video that I've produced for it that give people a chance to ask questions or if they have any concerns. So if your child, this is mainly for you parents out there who have children who are starting to drive, learning to drive, going to be new drivers, and may well have some concerns about what the restrictions are, what you have to do to make sure they're all followed. So, in general, in New Jersey, when people are learning how to drive, they start out with a learner's permit. Now, if you've never driven in New Jersey, never driven a vehicle, never been issued a license, you're not out of luck if you're not 16. But certainly, as you're growing up, 16 is the earliest you can get a learner's permit. And obviously, as the name implies, this is given to you so that you can learn how to drive as a practical skill. It's more than just the written test. But these permits come with a lot of restrictions because you're still learning how to drive and there are a lot of safety issues involved. So anybody with a learner's permit, there are some restrictions. Now these licenses are also called Cinderella licenses, okay, because they sort of turn into a pumpkin after a certain time. So if basically a learner's permit does not allow for driving after 11 p.m. or before 5 a.m. So if you're on a learner's permit, can't drive during that period of time. Now, there are a couple of exceptions that I'll get to in a minute, but learner's permit really shouldn't be driving. Now, with a learner's permit, you also have to have someone in the front seat with you. Okay, you're driving, but it has to be someone in the front seat, an adult supervising driver, and they have to be at least 21 years of age. So your buddy who's older, who got their license and they're 17, 18 years old, doesn't count, okay? That person, that has to be a licensed driver, at least 21 years of age, who's had a valid driver's license and a minimum of 3 years driving experience, okay? So it's not like just that you have to have a licensed driver in the other seat. It has to be someone that knows what they're doing, that are supervising you. So you're driving, but you have supervision. Very important restriction on a learner's permit. So, adult supervision driver, at least 21 years of age, with at least 3 years of experience driving. Now, as far as passengers in general, they can be parents, guardians, or dependents of yours if you're an older person first getting their driver's license for the first time. And a dependent is defined as a permit or probationary driver's child, not siblings. Okay, so your parent, guardian, or child, okay, as passengers. And you can only have one additional passenger allowed unless you're accompanied by a parent or guardian. So with a learner's permit, you can't load up the car and go cruising, as it were. All right, very limited on passengers in the car, and that's the limit. I mean, the driver's responsible for the safety of the people that are in the car, so that it's important. You're still learning, so from a safety issue, you can't have a lot of passengers. Now, of course, and this next one is a good idea for anybody, okay, but if you have a learner's permit, no cell phones, no electronic devices, nothing, period, okay. Even hands-free wireless devices. And of course, you got to wear your seatbelt at all times, but of course, every driver has that restriction. I see we've been joined by somebody. Please feel free to post a comment or a question. Like I said, this is an interactive format, so I welcome comments or questions. Now, the other big issue is the decals. Okay, there have to be these decals on the license plate that identify that the driver is one with a learner's permit that's still learning how to drive. Okay, so you have to get these reflective decals on each license plate. They have to be front and back. You have to display it on the top left corner of both the front and rear license plates. So there's a particular place you have to put it. If you're operating a motorcycle that only has one plate, then stick one decal on the plate in the top left corner. Obviously, there's only one plate. You can only put a sticker on one plate. Now, if the top left corner already has a decal, just place it in another corner. But the preferred place is in the top left corner. Now, how long you're supposed to have those decals can depend on a couple things. If you're under the age of 21, you got to display the decals during the period you possess the permit or probationary license. But once you get your full driver's license, they're not required. You had to buy them in pairs because it has to be a front and rear license plate, and they cost $4. So that is the on the decals as far as a learner's permit is concerned. Now, you have your learner's permit. You then can get a probationary license, although since May of 2010 they started calling them a graduated driver's license, or a GDL. Not really a very descriptive name, which is why I refer to it by its old name, the probationary license. You're no longer really learning. You have a probationary license, and you're driving on that. And really, the same restrictions apply to a GDL as apply to a learner's permit, except that you don't have to have that supervisory driver in the front passenger seat. Okay, so it's still a Cinderella license. You still have to, you can't drive between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m., right? You can't, you're limited as to the number of passengers. So the passenger is parent, guardian, or dependent, and there's only one additional passenger unless accompanied by a parent or guardian. Okay. And of course, the same restriction on cell phones and wireless hands-free devices, same seatbelt warning, and same requirement to have the decals. So those restrictions apply. Now, as I said before, there are exceptions on the Cinderella license thing. If, because of employment or for religious reasons, you need to drive that car after 11 p.m. or before 5 a.m. Okay, there's an exception, but you have to follow certain rules. You can get hours-related exemptions for employment or religious purposes. You must carry with you, really in the glove box, okay, a legible documentation on letterhead signed by the employer, the organization or religious institution, stating the reason for the request. So something official on the letterhead of the employer or the religious institution saying, look, this person needs to drive during a restricted period of time for these reasons. Okay, and you need to be able to have it in a glove box to present to a police officer if you're stopped, to explain why you're driving during the prohibited period. That letter must include a signature, title, an address, and telephone number of the designated official, and make it the owner of the business, someone in high authority in the religious institution, somebody that really has the authority to write the letter. All right, someone official. So if you have that letter in the glove box, you can get around these restrictions as long as it posts a good reason, so make sure you have it. Now, what happens if you have a learner's permit or a graduated driver's license, probationary license, and you get a ticket? Well, it's a problem because the rules are stricter under those licenses. Ordinarily, if you have a regular driver's license and you get a ticket that carries points, there is the ability afforded people to plead down to a ticket that avoids points entirely. All right. no points at all. Colloquially referred to as a no-point ticket. Strictly speaking, the violation is unsafe operation. And as a traffic court attorney, I've made this plea arrangement many times for clients. They can avoid the points. If you have a learner's permit or a graduated driver's license, you cannot completely avoid points. You have to take a hit for at least 2 points. Okay, can't get rid of them. And the minimum point assignment in New Jersey is 2 points. So, if you got a 2-point speeding ticket, a careless driving ticket, or failure to observe a stop sign, and many other tickets that carry 2 points, that's as low as you can go. All right, you can't entirely avoid the points. And now, if you got a 4-point or a 5-point speeding ticket, you may well be able to plead it down to 2 points. Or if you got a reckless driving ticket or something where it was the ticket, the officer maybe have written you for reckless and careless, you can plead the careless and avoid the 5 points of a reckless driving ticket and only get the 2 points of a careless driving ticket. Again, you have to get hit for at least 2 points. Now, here's the other part. If you get more than 3 points on your license, you're going to have to take a program, complete a driver's improvement program in order to get those points off. All right, you got to take it. Now, if you get more points and or you don't take the class, okay, it could result in it'll result in a suspension of your graduated driver's license or learner's permit and a postponement of your eligibility to obtain the next level up, either the GDL or the regular license. So that's not something you want. So be careful about these tickets. Now, if the ticket is for violating one of the restrictions, you don't have a decal, okay, that's a $100 fine. All right. You were driving at 2 o'clock in the morning and you didn't have that letter in your glove box. Again, it's a fine. All right, these are regulatory. They don't carry points, and they basically act as a punishment and incentive to play within the rules, play within the restrictions. So that can hit you. Now, once you're able to get your regular license, get your license, okay? I've had at least 2 occasions where I've had someone on a graduated driver's license, they turned 18, and they were able to get a regular license, and they never got around to it, okay? They just, all right, well, I got this license, I can drive, I'll get that taken care of. The prosecutors will not allow you to avoid points. The license you're carrying is the restricted one. You may qualify for a regular one, but you don't have one. So, you can still be in trouble, even if you're over 18, and qualify for the regular license if you don't get it. So, once you qualify for the regular license, go out and get it, okay? It's worth it. Hopefully you won't get a ticket, and it won't be a problem. But you're limiting the damage by doing that once you qualify for it. So don't let it wait. Also, there's information and materials on the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission's website, njmvc.org. On this, they have a great FAQ PDF download here on the decals. All sorts of information that I won't get into here. I'll put the link in the comments and in the show notes for the YouTube version of this video. But some great information there. So make sure to avail yourself of it. And also, I wanted to tell everybody, for even more information about the rules of the road, and I have it here. Here it is. This is available for free download from my website. This is my book, A Guide to Driving Legally in New Jersey and Surviving Traffic Court If You Don't. I know it's reversed in the camera, so sorry about that. But this is a free for download. Just go to my website. You'll see a rotating marquee of my different books, and just click on this one to download it for free. Gives you all sorts of information about the rules of the road in New Jersey, how to avoid getting a ticket, and what to do if you get one. Okay, so good resource to have. One other tip, and this is something I brought up in yesterday when I did my reminder video for today's show. You as parents, obviously, once you have a new driver on your insurance policy, your premiums are going to go up. Okay, you have an additional driver and you have an additional inexperienced driver. Okay, and so the tip here is, the important thing to remember is, don't just accept as your lot in life whatever the increase is as quoted to you by your current insurance carrier. Different insurance companies deal with this issue differently. Okay, these days a lot rides on credit history. Okay, credit score can affect your auto insurance policy. I think it's crazy. I'm sure you think it's crazy, but that's the way it is. Some insurance companies will go by the parent's credit score to rate the premium for the child. Some won't. Okay, so tip here is, talk to an independent insurance agent. It's very important that, and you should have, if you don't have one, an independent insurance agent. I'm going to be coming out with an episode of my podcast, the Financial Freedom Podcast, talking about why it's important to have an independent insurance agent. And I'll be interviewing my good friend Dave Strout, who's the owner of Setti & Connell here in Woodbury in Gloucester County, New Jersey. He's my insurance agent, and he'll have on that episode a lot of great pointers on why it's important. But talk to an independent insurance agent. Have them look at your policy. Do a policy review and say, okay, I've got this new driver. This is what they've quoted me as a premium. Can you do better with another carrier? And you can switch coverage. Okay, to someone's cheaper. So don't take that as your lot in life that you have to pay that, because it can be more expensive. So that's my tip for today. Now, if you like this video, great. Click that like button. If you love it, click the love button, share the love, and even more so, share it. Click the share button, all right? Because share it on your timeline. Let other people know this information. I tried to, in addition to people that are fans of my Facebook page, have got alerts on this, but I also tried to alert a lot of my personal friends on Facebook that are of an age where they may have children that are becoming drivers, or might know somebody that does, might be interested in the topic. But if you know of someone, you see this video and say, hey, so-and-so, my neighbor, my friend, my cousin, has a child that's getting one of these licenses here in New Jersey, might be interested in this, share it on their timeline. Share it on your timeline. Share it. Okay. Share the knowledge. Of course, if anybody's interested in more information, or you get a traffic ticket and you need an attorney to talk to, and the ticket was issued here in southern New Jersey, then please feel free to give me a call at 856-686-9910. So that's it for this month's episode of Lunch with a Lawyer. I'll let you get back to your lunch if you haven't finished eating it already. And I will see you next month.